Among consumers, CD Projekt Red is unquestionably one of the most beloved game developers of our modern time. The way they handled Witcher 3 by delivering an excellent game with a variety of free DLCs and fairly priced substantial expansions left everyone impressed. Their hearts are clearly in the right place, and I think it's safe to say that we all want them to succeed moving forward. Which is why I hope that what I'm about to show you isn't actually indicative of what is happening at CD Projekt Red behind the scenes. The following information comes from a website called Glassdoor, which is basically what you might call a Yelp for employees. People can go into this website anonymously and submit a review on what their experience was like working at a company. Among the listed companies is none other than CD Projekt Red, and apparently the work environment there isn't all that great. At the moment, the studio is sitting at a 3.1 stars average score. Only 46% would recommend a friend to work here, and only 15% approve of CEO Adam Badowski. For comparison, Ubisoft is sitting at a 3.8 stars average rating, 85% would recommend working here, and 98% approve of the CEO Yves Guillemot. And EA is sitting at 3.9 stars, 82% recommendation rate, and 95% CEO approval rating. Naturally, this left me wondering what the hell is going on. How can a studio that's so beloved by consumers have such mixed reviews from employees? To find some answers, I've gone ahead and looked through all the reviews in hopes of finding a pattern of some sort that offers some insight into the behind-the-scenes going-ons. Now, it is worth noting that unlike EA and Ubisoft and other gaming giants, which have hundreds of reviews, CD Projekt Red only has 30 reviews, which isn't all that surprising when you consider that it's based in Poland and that it's a much smaller company. The first review dates all the way back to December 16th, 2012. This reviewer apparently worked at the company full-time for more than a year as a programmer, and while he praised the company for its great people and games and called it a very good place to learn new things and improve your skills, he also criticized the lackluster middle management, how talent is lost due to pressure, low salary, bullying, or bad decisions, the long working hours, sometimes paid, sometimes not, the fake milestones to increase pressure, a bonus system that's biased towards middle management, poor technology vision, and how programmers are treated like slaves. Finally, for advice, the reviewer said, get real team leaders there, especially in the programming and gameplay departments. Be honest and trust your employees more. Now, this is just one review from a long time ago, so we could be looking at one disgruntled employee. At least that's what I thought until I started looking at other reviews, at which point a pattern started to develop. The second review was posted 2.5 years later on April 25th, 2015, and it pretty much lists the same pros and cons. Pros include attractive and exciting projects, good people, and fun social events and parties, while cons include insane crunch cycles, lackluster management, poor communication and documentation, broken and outdated tools and practices, and low salary. For advice, the reviewer said, studio has grown too large too fast with no actual managers at the helm. Acknowledge that and start with the basics, the right people in the right positions, train your employees, language skills, teamwork and team building workshops, performance reviews, tools, and pipeline best practices. Listen to your employees and act now to change. They are the ones who understand software development, not your board of directors. Promises are for politicians. Slow down the artificial and accelerated promotion scheme that is there to just fill roles. Same thing with this next review from May 30th, 2015, which lists nice people, great projects, and a great place to learn as pros, and lists traumatic crunch periods, bad planning and fake milestones, bad management, bullying, large employee rotation, and more as cons. Here's another review from June 1st, 2015. Once again, interesting projects, good and talented people, but out-of-touch management, setting fake milestones, long crunch times, lack of direction, so on and so forth. This reviewer also gave the following advice. Make no mistake, your recent success doesn't mean that everything is fine internally and you should continue as always. Fresh blood is nice, but has to be tempered with experience. Just because someone is saying that he can do something doesn't mean he actually has the skill to do so. Start noticing less vocal people, keep improving the internal chemistry of the team, work on trusting the professionals you hired instead of micromanaging them all the way through. You have a potential to be a great working place, you're just not there yet. It's worth noting that these 3 2015 reviews were written in the months leading up to or following Witcher 3's May 19th, 2015 launch. While the final product turned out great, it seems it all came at a great cost for CD Projekt Red employees. I should also mention that Witcher 3 was delayed twice before launch, once from autumn 2014 to February 2015, and again from February 2015 to May 19th, 2015, which adds credence to complaints of poor management and communication, bad planning, fake milestones, a chaotic development environment, long crunch times, large employee rotations, outdated practices and development tools, and more. Another review from August 26th, 2015 mirrored the same sentiments. Nice atmosphere, laid-back people, ambitious projects, but enormous crunch times, clueless management, and huge employee rotation. The reviewer also left the following advice: hire people with actual experience with AAA projects lifecycle, and plan your production. Weekly meetings is not planning, it is reactive. A more extensive review was posted on September 7th, 2015 from a full-time employee who apparently worked at CD Projekt Red for more than 3 years. Once again, pros include talented people, ambitious projects, and great parties. For cons on the topic of management, apparently nobody actually knows how to manage people, with managers consisting of old-time employees that are there because of their time investment in the company. Also, producers are apparently young and inexperienced, which when combined with bad management can lead to huge crunch time. On promotions, apparently the best employees can be denied promotion based on contrived reasons, while others may be promoted despite not meeting requirements. On employee retention, apparently any employee who is unhappy with their position at the company is automatically assumed to be leaving immediately with no effort made to keep them, leading to a large amount of amateurs in every department. Another major complaint was that the company apparently has nothing set up for new people, with the review saying, "It's sink or swim in this company from the start until the end. It has no courses or even documentation for learning tools, which are incredibly rudimentary. This company doesn't invest in its employees at all. You're expected to get better on your own. If you want to learn game development, this place is not for you." On the topic of salary, the review said, "The company is also extremely cheap towards its employees. Despite the success of The Witcher, QA is paid around the minimum wage, which is barely anything in Poland. Any other employees do not earn the amount they could working at an international company. Raises are few and far between." The review finally concluded with the following advice: hire somebody with actual management experience to help this company change. Without this, in 5 years, nobody will want to work at CD Projekt Red. Yikes. These are all the reviews that came in from 2015 alone, the year of The Witcher 3. It might have turned out to be a great game, but it looks like a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into it, and not in a good way. Now, the company did fare a little better throughout 2016 despite some rough early reviews. On top of issuing the same complaints as before, this 3-star review from January 3rd, 2016 added that you have to pay for your own health insurance at this company. Then, a 4-star review posted on March 10th, 2016 complimented the people, projects, and company events, while also adding very decent atmosphere, especially after the crunch of Witcher 3 Wild Hunt has ended. But complaints about production and how it's marred by amateurs from old-age Polish game development, about crunch time, and about unqualified people becoming leads still persisted. The reviewer advised management to hire at least one good producer with experience on big titles, to reduce chaos in planning and work, to raise salaries, especially after Witcher 3's success, and to focus on quality and not quantity when hiring people. Another review worth looking at is this one from May 26, 2016, which mentioned as one of their cons that work tends to be lost and done in vain with nobody taking responsibility, with the process repeating itself over and over again. Also, important information such as postponed release dates, upcoming demo builds, and more crunch apparently isn't shared with the team, and promises for things like days off, crunch duration, or pay raises are apparently often broken, evoking the feeling that the project is all that matters and that the team isn't all that important. Now, from this point forward, between May and July 2016, while many of the same pros and cons are still mentioned, reviews are overall more positive, mainly consisting of 4 and 5 stars, which could be attributed to a more relaxed environment following Witcher 3's launch. But then, scores take a nosedive once again with a 1-star review posted towards the end of the year on December 11th, 2016. This review isn't all that insightful, but this next 3-star review posted on December 20th shares familiar sentiments. Great games, great team, and good atmosphere, but poor salary despite years of overtime for Witcher 3. For the final review of the year, here's another 3-star one from December 25th. Same pros and cons, but it also adds that management is unsure how the next projects should look like, which might be relevant to Cyberpunk 2077. This finally brings us to reviews posted in our current year 2017, which I think are particularly important because they might give us some insight into Cyberpunk 2077's development environment. Things kicked off strong with this 5-star review posted on January 5th. Pros state once again that you get to work on awesome projects with friendly and talented people, attend a lot of social events, and more, while cons state that a constant growth of the workforce means constant renovations of the office, that salaries need to be higher, that some employees who are well rooted in the company are doing more harm than good, that the periodical grading system is flawed, and that senior management doesn't always listen to reason and let their personal feelings get in the way. Similar feedback is given by this 4-star review from January 19th, which criticizes the company for a structure that seems to be getting more and more vertical and advises management to listen to employees, be more humble, to engage in discussions with the team, and to keep their promises. From there, we have a 2-star review from 5 months later, June 1st, criticizing the company for long hours and no rest, asking management to respect employees and to treat them like humans. Next up is a 5-star review from June 9th, which states that work-life balance is getting better, that the studio is learning from their mistakes, and that it's getting better at understanding its employees, believing that things will change for the better. But once again, cons include crunch time, hierarchy, employee rotation, no clear architectural vision for the studio referring to the constant renovations, basic hardware for developers, unclear rules for salaries, and decisions made for the wrong reasons. This review also provides the same advice to management as others. Listen to your employees, especially those at the low level. Moving on August 16th, a disgruntled reviewer posted a 1-star review criticizing the studio for lack of motivation, gut-feeling decision-making, lack of reasonable approach to proposals or feedback, culture of blame instead of culture of feedback and praise, upper management's unwillingness to hear feedback from lower level, organizational chaos, absent erratic CEO, and the practice of providing higher bonuses to management. 2 days later, on August 18th, another disgruntled reviewer criticized the company for a non-existent work-life balance, decision paralysis, and general indecisiveness, major employee rotation in which important positions aren't filled by people of equal skill, feels over reals attitude perpetuated by HR, extremely politicized work environment in which connections and position trump knowledge and experience, and low salaries even by Poland standards. 11 days later, on August 29th, a 2-star review criticized the company for spreadsheet-driven development, for a game director that changes design on a whim while often contradicting himself, how it seems like it's just 5 people making the game with the hundreds of others just taking orders, how opinions don't matter and are rarely taken into consideration, how the same management mistakes are repeated over and over again, how who you know is more important than skills and knowledge, and how you need to get a management position to mean something in the company, how management keeps patting themselves in the back, pretending nothing's wrong, and how some teams are clearly treated with less respect than others. 2 days later, on August 31st, A one-star review criticized that after world record crunching on Witcher 3 and its expansions, the company grew to a level where management has no idea how to handle such an amount of people and problems. Finally, on September 3rd, 2017, one final one-star review had this to say: almost everyone from higher and middle management have clear game vision. Regrettably, those visions are contradictory. Since those visions are clear, there is no need to discuss them. The CEO is the only one willing to take responsibility and make tough decisions. He is also erratic and a chaotic person with no interest in gaming. None of these noblemen are open to feedback, as anyone below their level is here merely to take orders, not to criticize. At best, you'll be listened to no effect. Design changes are based on cloud patterns, dice rolls, or what was in TV the night before. This company has over 400 workers, but it's still run like a rock band or a castle. There are few pals who everything revolves around. The rest are expendable. Crunch here is insane. We read about Bungie's crunch and Mass Effect Andromeda crunch and laughed. And crunch will hit the current project hard. Because spreadsheet planning plus incompetent overseers equals hemorrhoids, bad back, and depression. Advice to management: just retire or focus on family. Please leave making games to people who actually play them, make them, and love them. Alright, so where to begin? I guess the first thing I should point out is that Glassdoor is like Yelp in that anyone can anonymously leave a review. So theoretically, it is possible that a couple trolls or a handful of very disgruntled employees are going out of their way to discredit CD Projekt Red. On the other hand, I would argue that these pros and cons are way too consistent throughout too many years to ignore. Almost every review in the last 2 years pretty much say the same thing: good people, good projects, and good social events, but bad working hours, bad crunch time, bad management, bad erratic CEO, bad decision making, bad planning, bad communication, bad salaries, bad grading system, bad treatment of certain groups of employees, bad employee rotation, bad hierarchy system, bad politics, broken promises, and the list just goes on and on. Another way I know that a lot of these reviews are probably legit is because many of these people seem to know that CD Projekt Red has a canteen that's all vegetarian. It was something that was mentioned by numerous reviewers throughout the years. One reviewer even noted that they're finally getting meat soon. So while it is theoretically possible that there are 1 or 2 reviews submitted by some random troll or schmuck, for the most part, I get the sense that most of these reviews are the real deal. Hell, I would even argue that elements of a troubled work environment can be felt from our end as well if you think back to some recent developments. Witcher 3 was delayed twice, and it's already been 5 years since Cyberpunk 2077 was first announced. Back in December 2015, when asked to talk about Cyberpunk 2077 during an interview, CEO Adam Kaczynski said, "The project is even more ambitious than we first anticipated." Throughout 2016, CD Projekt Red expressed numerous times how rapidly they wanted to expand the number of employees at the company. In one article, they said they wanted to go from 300 plus employees to 500 plus employees, and in another article from 400 plus to 800 plus, giving credence to criticisms about huge employee rotations or that the company's hiring too many inexperienced people. Perhaps this explains why CD Projekt Red has been posting so many ads for job listings as of late. Hell, it was only a little over a year ago that they posted a job listing for a producer for Cyberpunk 2077. On top of that, following Witcher 3's launch and during Cyberpunk 2077's development, key members of CD Projekt Red have left the company. Adam Sachoki, lead graphics programmer for CD Projekt Red, joined the company back in March 2013 and left the company in February 2017, now working as senior software engineer for Microsoft. Thomas Janarski, who worked as senior engine programmer for CD Projekt Red since June 2014, also left the company on February 2017 and is now a freelance software engineer. Then, earlier this year, rumors circulated that after a change in game director for Cyberpunk 2077 following the completion of Blood and Wine, the pre-production of the game before 2016 was allegedly all binned. So yeah, there are little blemishes like that all throughout the past couple of years since Cyberpunk 2077's announcement that, alongside these Glassdoor reviews, suggest that all is not well at CD Projekt Red, especially where the work environment is concerned. There seems to be this general sense that CD Projekt Red is way in over their heads with poor management that's unable to keep up with the company's rapid growth. And look, I hope I'm wrong about this. I hope that all employees are being treated well and that development on highly anticipated titles like Cyberpunk 2077 has been going very smoothly. But I'd be remiss if I didn't at least present this information to you guys. Make of it what you will. From my end, it seems as though while CD Projekt Red employs great business practices from a consumer perspective, they don't always extend the same treatment to its employees. Assuming that these reviews' consistency speak to their accuracy, it honestly sounds like a shit place to work, even if they do end up making great games in the long run. Assuming this is all true, I don't think it's right. They need to at least get management sorted out so they're able to make games much more efficiently at a higher quality. Just about every reviewer agreed that there are great, friendly, talented people working at the company, but it doesn't seem as though their talents are always being put to good use or are always being appreciated. I don't know, maybe I'm speaking out of turn considering that none of this is 100% confirmed information, but something has to be up, right? I can't be the only one who thinks that the pattern of these reviews and the various alarming developments throughout the past years seem to tell a story. That's my take on it, at least. I'd love to hear what you think about all this in the comments below. Also, if you like this video and enjoy my content, consider supporting me on Patreon to get a chance to chat with me on Discord, get your name in the video, play some games with me, and much more. All contributions will go to helping our community remain independent from third-party sponsorship and corporate interference. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.